we just thought we would give you a bit more information about our topic this half term. So our topic is called Dynamic Dynasties, and this is where we will be having a look at the ancient civilizations of China. Our particular focus will be the Shang dynasty, but that will be after we've had a look at all the other dynasties in China.
So in geography, we'll be looking at human and physical geographical features of ancient China, and we will be comparing this to England.
As well, this half term we will be having some subject focus days on a Friday. So we will start off with doing art, where we'll do lots of fun activities and practical activities, where we'll be progressing our skills in art. We will then go on to DT and spending a whole Friday doing DT, which will then go on to Spanish. And we'll have this all throughout the half term to kind of further our learning in all the other curriculum subjects.
If you would like to help your children at home, you could maybe research the Shang dynasty, as this will be our primary focus in history lessons. So it would be good if they went home and had a look at this online before they come into the lessons.
In Autumn 2 in English, we are going to be doing a couple of pieces of writing. The main focus for our writing this half term will be advancing action through dialogue. And now all that means is that the children will be applying dialogue, which is just speech, and they will be advancing the action. So that just means they are moving the story forward as they go through their narrative. Now, inverted commas will have been taught in year 4, so these are just speech marks which you'll be familiar with from maybe when you were at school. But you can see up here I've got an example. So we have almost the dialogue here, which is surrounded by the inverted commas. You then have the reporting clause, which it just explains who is speaking and how they are saying it. And then you have the action. So this is where you're telling the reader what the person is doing as they are saying the dialogue that is above. Now you can flip the advancing action, so you can have the action first and then followed by the dialogue. So we will be trying to encourage the children to do both so that they can develop their understanding of this. So usually then if the action is at the beginning, the sentence would start with the verb itself and then move on to the dialogue. So just a couple of rules in case you're supporting your children at home with using dialogue, with using speech. Inverted commas have to surround the spoken word. So you can see here, sometimes the children refer to them as 6699, but they go around what is actually being spoken in the dialogue. We have a capital letter at the start of speech, so even if that means the speech is at the end of the sentence, we still have the capital letter there. We would have a new speaker, new line. So obviously here we've got Ursula talking. If it then moved on to Ariel, we would go on to just the line underneath so that we can clearly distinguish that this is a new person talking. And then the punctuation will always go inside. So regardless of whether that is just a comma, it would have to go on the inside. There has to be some form of punctuation before the end of the speech. For our reading this half term, we will be looking at the text Holes by Louisa Carr. And this will be a really interesting text, we hope, for the children. We will be picking out some of the reading domains, so gathering evidence from the text and doing a bit of a focus around the author himself and some of the texts that he's looked at. If you have any questions, do get in touch with us.
In Maths in Autumn 2, we carry on our journey with factors and multiples, but we apply it to fractions. So within fractions, we'll be ordering fractions and comparing fractions. We'll be using our symbols, greater than, less than, and equal to. We will use multiples, so we will make sure that there is a common denominator between the two, because at the moment, the children won't know which one's the biggest fraction. So we have to make sure that our common denominators are the same. And what happens is whatever we do to the top, we do to the bottom, and then we can make our judgment. So now we know that 3/4 is less than 7/8. We simplify fractions to their lowest form. So on this occasion, we know that both numbers are in the 7 times table, so we can divide it by 7 and simplify it down to 7/8. We will then move on to working with mixed numbers, so where there's a number and a fraction. We will look at improper fractions, where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And we do that for about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how well we do with each of the different topics. We will move at the pace of the children.